Is everyone good to get started?
Let's see.
Rogue may not be here at this moment. He went to take a shower, but we will get started nonetheless, and we'll brief him on what has happened when he gets back. As... Play. Come on. Just checking where you guys are. Okay, perfect. As last time on Renewal of Shadow, we picked up with you all making your final preparations in the town of Wolford, saying whatever goodbyes you need and picking up whatever you needed to before heading out. As there were preparations made, and then the party gathered together, whiskey in tow, prepared to face the about 6 to 7 day venture before them. As you began traveling the roads of destiny, cutting through the thick woodlands in the biting cold at times, finding mostly normal days for your first, I believe it was 3 days of travel. Yeah, your first 3 days of travel, about three. You had no sort of incidents or anything like that. Come the 3rd, however, on the 26th of Serial, it was a cold winter's day. No snow was falling or anything like that. The sun was high in the sky, a clear, sunny, but cold day as you traveled through the woods, through the roads, through the forest area. As you moved, the carriage almost passed a invisible threshold of sorts, and all of the magic users in the party felt a jolt move throughout their body, feeling disturbed and off, with some of the people who don't rely on magic as much, or people who don't rely on magic at all, not really feeling the same effects. As you all stepped through this invisible threshold, attempting to continue forward before you could, Silas went to hazard a sort of test to see if his magic was functioning properly, as he cast a spell, a cantrip, a simple one. I believe it was Prestidigitation or Thaumaturgy, one of the two. Very simple, basic cantrips. Nothing of harm should come from it. As he went to cast it, however, the magic swirled in his hands as he felt incredible pain shoot through his arm. And then a conflux of all different elements appeared from his fingertips where the magic would come from, as his spell was altered, and instead a strange metallic creature had shown itself before you all, appearing in the back of the cart rather abruptly. This strange, alien-looking metal creature glanced over you all with its single eyeball as it went to ask you all questions, as Astrid rushed down the road trying to get out of this dangerous zone that was afflicting you all, which you would come to learn was a wild magic zone from this strange metallic creature. As Astrid continued down the road, she spotted something off in the distance. A tall obelisk, a Mistran obelisk, ones that you, the obelisk that you all had ventured to touch before, one of them. The tall spires made of ancient stone imbued with the magic of, with pre-spell plague magic. This one seemingly different, as it was surrounded by a almost blighted and distorted ground with bits of trees and the dirt and rock floating, being displaced all around it as sparks of purple arcane lightning jolted about the area. Astrid moved to park as she began to approach the area to try and not deny the opportunity for the party to explore it. As the party in the back was dealing with this very strange creature. I like how I'm looking at this now. I put strange creature for the handout, and then I guess after it died, I just put strange creature dead. Which is very funny. I don't know why I did that. That certainly wasn't necessary. But nonetheless, the strange creature in the back asked you all some questions about who summoned it, going through the rounds of each of you, as each of you did not give him the clear answer it desired, until Silas appeared like he was going to give him an answer. Before any real conversation would be had for the creature, however, Soul went to repeat the same thing that Silas did and casted a cantrip, which had more devastating effects than Silas's casting of the spell. As Soul's cantrip bursted out in a flare of fire magic, hurting you all, killing the creature instantly, and luckily not reaching Whiskey. And not damaging the cart. After that was done, there was a brief moment where there was some anger towards a couple people from one person or another regarding what had just happened. And then curiosity had taken over. This Mistran obelisk, the focus of a good portion of the party's mind. As most of the party went off to go examine it, with Josie and Astrid staying behind. As they approached, it was able to be seen once they got closer that one of the sigils on the obelisk was designed in a sort of hostile way to indicate that it was dangerous, that there was danger and that you should not approach, let alone touch, the obelisk. However, this did not deter Isaac for long, as he felt a tugging from his crystal rod to investigate it further for an unknown reason, perhaps. But as he went to approach, Beryl, also seeming this as some sort of challenge or game, was also rearing to do the same. But before anything else could really happen, Silas tried to make it clear that you all should not touch it. Even drawing a weapon and pointing it toward Isaac, exclaiming that if he were to touch it, that he would fire upon Isaac, and he was being very serious. And then Beryl touched the obelisk. As that was happening. As Beryl touched it, magic surged through her, locking her body up and causing her to go limp. Or she would go limp if the magic itself wasn't almost holding her in place as she touched her hand against the obelisk. As she did, she saw visions course through her mind, over and over, past her mind, and then heard a single word, Pandora, that when she was pulled from the stupor of the visions, Beryl spoke the word aloud, and the sigil on the obelisk broke, and then the obelisk itself shattered, and behind the obelisk, this tether that tethered to the back of some sort of area that was hidden from your view because of a dome of energy that obscured it, of anti-magic. You all were able to see now as the dome faded, the anti-magic began to fade, and you were able to now see what looked like this stone head, like a carving of a masked figure's head, with a veil that is carved open like a pathway, like a cave entryway, a cave mouth in some literal senses, you could imagine, with it being a face and cave mouth. Anyway, that aside, the anti-magic was broken due to some knowledge gathered before. Isaac knew that the wild magic in the area would fade soon because of that. which could be considered a bonus. However, there was some animosity that grew, particularly from Silas toward Beryl and Isaac regarding what had just happened, as he assumed it was dangerous and did not want anything to do with this, but they went ahead and did it anyway. As he began to make his way back toward the carriage, Beryl, Isaac, and Sol went to go investigate further inside of the strange cave. As going to enter, while that was happening, Silas went back and convened with Josie and Astrid, and Silas updated them on the situation. Josie did not seem comfortable with letting them go in on their own and possibly get themselves hurt, not wanting to leave them possibly for death. So she opted to go and investigate with them as well. So Silas, of course, accompanied her. Astrid drove the carriage further away so that Whiskey would not be anywhere near this area, as Whiskey was very clearly frightened and deemed to remain with the carriage with Carolina. So, as that happened, Beryl, Isaac, and Sol entered, with Josie and Silas quickly entering soon after them, and found themselves in a circular dome-like room with what was a crystal heart atop an altar of crossed hands in the center of the room, floating above it, emanating powerful, powerful magic. As well, there was a mural depicting strange images that did not ring a bell to anyone in the party about what they could mean. Only people getting anything from it were a couple individuals noticing that the symbol of the star used in it that was being given to the small figure was the symbol used historically to indicate magic itself in ties to Mishra. So, the party was gathered, save Astrid, in this dome-like cave area. And discussion was had about what to do. And the consensus seemed to be that this was likely too dangerous, and that the energy emitting from this heart, and the power in the room, and the mural possibly depicting what it was depicting, was too dangerous to be wielded by any of you, let alone anyone that could possibly be left to get it in the open. So, it was decided that Morgan Legoidwig, the son of the Raven Queen, would be contacted to try and sort this out and possibly explain what was going on and at least get rid of the item so it was no longer in possession, or it was no longer out in the open. So, Astrid was fetched. Astrid sent a message to Morgan, fetching him. Morgan arrived, entered in, and looked over the room, and seemingly was surprised and almost had a curious look on his face. He examined everything. As asking some explanations from him, Morgan, in his sort of difficult way, did explain some things about what was here, explaining the mural to be the depiction of Mistra's first giving of magic to the first mortal to ever wield it. The mortal Pandora, the first person to ever wield magic, who went on to create 5 more individuals to also be the first people to spread magic as well, whose names were lost save the first of her creations, Thanatos, the Mask of Death, and then the 6th, Scotty, the Mask of Ice. Scotty is the Mask of Ice. Technically, Scotty is the 5th counting Pandora, but 6th counting Pandora, but is the 5th of her creations. Regardless, the 5th being Scotty, the Mask of Ice. As he explained, the creation of magic, the gifting of it to Pandora, the creating of Pandora's disciples, and then the breaking of the covenant of Pandora and her disciples, as Pandora went mad after giving magic to the world and to mortals. She found herself believing that that was a mistake and spent her days trying to erase what she had done. with the assistance of Thanatos and Scotty. However, Thanatos betrayed them at a crucial point, leading to the defeat of Scotty and Pandora and their eventual death and or sealing away. Morgan wasn't too clear, necessarily, but he didn't seem to believe that any of them were threats in any sort of way. As the story was explained, there was also questions asked about what the item was, but nobody particularly did a good job convincing Morgan, and he was rather cross about having to come get this anyway, because it was somewhere safe to begin with, and he just didn't want to tell you. Like, he was just like, I'm not fucking telling you. Whatever. Get over it, nerd. Took it, and then left. As he does. He just dipped and took it without explaining anything. Shows up, tells you about the creation of magic, elaborates on nothing more than that, leaves. So, after that happened, the heart was taken away, with Morgan promising that it would be safe and would not fall into the hands of any being, ever. And then he left. You all took your time and exited the area one by one, except for Astrid, who stayed behind to place her hand upon the mural and give condolences. As she did, though, however, a breeze passed by her, and it felt as if a cold hand touched her cheek. And she turned to look behind her as she went to leave, and saw what looked like a brief image of a pale, icy woman looking toward her with a mask made of ice, with a grin on her face that quickly dissipated. Afterwards, some strange things went on with Astrid. But nonetheless, there were some other things you discussed and did before you eventually packed up and continued your journey. Eventually reaching the open plains-like areas of the... past the woods, making your way toward Breline. As you all went to camp that night and rest, watches were had, and near the end of Beryl's watch, she noticed something strange. What looked like bees, that first looked like glowing, icy lights in the distance, approaching. These massive honeybee-like creatures that were a icy blue and black color that emitted a icy blue light, similar to how a lightning bug or firefly, depending on, I guess, your region, however you'd call it, emits that light. I think we call them fireflies here. Regardless, they flew by. They were large, about the size you'd expect of a small dog, with their wings flapping as they passed. One, curiously, approached the camp and approached Astrid's tent, which was a bit outside of the camp itself, landing on the side of her tent, and then Astrid exited her tent, seemingly still in the stupor of sleep, and turned to look toward the bee. Astrid soon groggily awoke, feeling confused that she was up out here, and that she was looking at this bee, and touching the bee, in fact, as her hand was touching the fur. The bee examined her, then nuzzled its cheek into her arm before picking up and leaving. Then Astrid went back to bed. Some other watches were had. Nothing of note particularly happened throughout the rest of the night. And we ended session with you all finishing your long rest, as you all would be in camp. The sun is barely peaking above the horizon as you all are awakening on this somewhat cold morning. It's a comfortable cold, but a cold nonetheless, as the sun peaks over the horizon, illuminating your small camp with the campfire that has already died out from the cold. As before we pick up back into it, does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns, or anything I left out of the recap? Alrighty. Sorry, there we go. As we pick session back up with each of you awakening in the morning, as you are stirred awake, feeling the sun upon your skin. Astrid, are you going... Beryl, are you going to be sounding the horn upon your awakening?
Yeah.
So those of you that were actually sleeping, which would be Isaac, Astrid, Carolina as well, would receive those benefits as you awake this morning. And Astrid, as the horn goes off, you would sort of groggily hear it in your sleep, and sort of in that very ethereal and strange fey way that you sort of feel sometimes when you sleep, when you actually hear something, but you're not sure if it was a dream or not, when your mind actually wakes up. You sort of have that effect where you're sleeping, where your body still sleeps, but your mind is in the midst of waking, and you hear the horn, but you don't wake after it sounds. And Beryl, as you notice everyone stirring awake after, you'd notice that a few minutes would pass by before there'd be any sort of stirring from Astrid's tent. As all of you are now up, or getting up in the morning, what do you do?
I guess I'll, pull out some rations. Have a little breakfast snack.
Sure.
Isaac will get up, do his morning stretches, which are very obnoxious, and he will make his way to the cart and just kind of hang around there for a little bit, waiting for everybody else.
Sure.
The stuff that I crafted, I would be keeping on quick hand, like in a side pouch.
It's
or
fine.
Pocket. Beyond that, Faust would just go to the cart, not paying mind to anyone other than unless his sister addresses him, and just start casually reading.
Sure.
All comes out of her tent shivering. She casts Produce Flame, then Control Flame twice to make it big, and float.
Okay.
Yeah, Josie's she's been up for a while now, so up and out and ready to go.
After a little while, Beryl will take up position on the passenger side of the wagon.
Sure.
Sort of waiting for Astrid.
Astrid, do you have been doing anything during the morning time?
Probably just getting ready slower than usual. She's been groggy.
Yeah. That grogginess sort of lasts for a bit. And you again feel a slight irritation at Soul's flame as you're getting ready. But it quickly passes after a moment, after your mind begins to wake up more.
When everybody's finally ready to go, Astrid will actually hand the snowflake to Silas and say, when you get a chance, could you be a dear and identify this for me?
So you hold out the snowflake.
As you'd see,
that-
what looks like a shard of ice that is made in the shape of a snowflake, about the size big enough that it would be able to fit in the palm of your hand. Intricately designed snowflake as well.
Mind informing me where that came from? I've not seen it before.
Well, either Scotty herself or an apparition that made itself look like her gave it to me yesterday.
In the cave.
In the cave, yes.
So just kind of like he's pondering something for a matter of just a few seconds at that. And have you felt anything?
Astrid, as you go to speak, make me an intelligence saving throw.
Oh
boy! I didn't take it fast enough.
One second.
Would be at disadvantage as well. I'm checking my thing here.
Okay. Intelligence.
Yeah. As he asks that question and as you go to recall anything happening or anything strange that has occurred, everything that has happened after you pick up the snowflake, it goes through your mind, but you don't consider it odd. You consider it normal and not worth pointing out in any sort of way to Silas. You don't feel as though anything out of the ordinary has happened after picking up the snowflake.
To be fair, she does like snow. That's not too weird. No, I felt perfectly normal. I didn't bother everybody with it yesterday because everybody was in a bit of a mood. I thought it could wait.
All right. Let me. I didn't mean to GM roll that, but nonetheless.
And of course, you don't have to do it right away. Whenever you have a spare moment.
But you are offering it out for him to take it, right?
Right. Yeah. Just because she's going to be driving.
Right. Certainly. I assume being near the fire didn't harm it.
No, it didn't. Well, I was sort of farther away from the fire last night, but it didn't, as far as I could see, no, it doesn't seem to be affected by temperature.
Interesting. I will. I guess I got a touch to identify it anyways. Yeah, I'll take it from her.
Okay. You touch it. Feels cold. Feels very cold as you touch it. Like, as your hand touches it, there's a sting almost of pain as the cold is, like, oppressive as your hand latches onto it. Give me a con save.
Okay.
Not a high DC and not going to be an... Yeah. So you take about 1 point of cold damage as you touch it, which is a lot for such a small item. Because just touching something doing damage to you is a fairly big deal. HP is a measurement of... It's not normal. Like, just touching something that's cold is not going to deal damage to you. Like, it has to be incredibly cold. And it is, as you touch it and you take a point of cold damage, it is oppressively cold as your hand touches onto it.
you weren't bothered by this cold coming from it.
No, not particularly, but I've always sort of liked the cold. Winter's my favorite season.
It's I'm gonna wrap it up in some cloths at the moment.
Sure.
Does the cloth create enough of a barrier between me and it
It's enough that you won't be taking damage, but it is sort of like when you wrap like a thin piece of cloth, like a paper towel over like an ice pack. Like you still feel how cold that is. It's just not as bad.
You might not be getting frostburn on your skin, but it's still cold.
It's still cold as hell.
All right. There's a difference between liking the cold or winter. That actually hurt a little. And mind you, I was just fine back trudging through the snow shortly after we first met each other.
Did you never play with dry ice as a kid?
Is dry ice a concept I would know about?
I don't know.
Probably
I don't know
not.
ask if dry ice exists.
I mean, probably, maybe. I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't always have the history to like know.
That's fair.
I don't.
Actually.
I don't always have the. This was invented in this year. It's not. I'm not like that with everything. It was just sunscreen that one time. I'm sorry, so I can't say. I would say maybe dry ice as a concept exists. So yeah.
So yeah, Isaac would, or Isaac. I'm Isaac now apparently. So Silas would
Just except it's not a choke, Jim.
quirk his, eyebrow, looking over at Astrid. How in the world would ice be dry?
It's just what it's called. It's so cold it burns. They used to put it in the punch bowl at parties, and it makes this nice little fog sort of effect. It keeps it cold, and it's very dramatic,
I can't say it's a luxury I've been accommodated with, but I'm just surprised this didn't do more than just be mildly cold, But nonetheless, I will identify it.
Thank you. I appreciate it, really.
Once the carriage gets going, Jake, I will
Get to that in a moment.
I will start to identify it.
Sure. We'll get to that in a moment. Astrid, are you doing anything in particular as you go to get the carriage started?
No?
Is anyone having anything they need to talk about, do, or say before you guys get your move on?
Do I remember the bee thing?
Vaguely. You do vaguely remember it, but again, it sort of feels like you're not sure if it was a dream or not. But you do remember it, and what stands out is the fact that you don't know if it was a dream.
Okay, well, she won't bring it up then.
Okay. Anyone else have anything they want to discuss before getting the carriage going? And take that as a no. Only thing else I have to ask in that regard is a question for you, Karina. You have a big rifle that you carry around with you.
Yes.
It's not exactly a concealed weapon. How do you carry the weapon with you?
If she is on foot, it is generally strapped to her back.
Okay.
If, when seated in the carriage, it comes off her back and sort of just lays across her
Okay.
lap.
And is that just blanket correct going forward?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
And in particular today,
One
while
second.
the bears sort of, yeah.
Sorry about that. My mom has surgery tomorrow, and she's going to take a shower and then go to bed. So I was saying good night to her.
No problem. But yeah, in particular today, as they're like riding in the carriage, she's sort of like almost absentmindedly, like almost fidgeting with the large gun, like turning it over in her lap, kind of looking at it and worrying it a little bit.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Sorry, I had to banish a cat with a flashlight, but I did hear all of that. Okay. No rolls needed for getting whiskey moving. As the carriage begins its slow move. What pace are you guys looking to move at today? Despite your detour, I say detour, it was a very short detour. Despite that, though, despite the half hour you spent yesterday, you feel as though you're on track. You've not lost any time. You've not gained particularly that much time either, though. So it feels like you'll likely arrive, given the average of what you'd expect the travel to be.
What is the deal with the stretch of road we're dealing with today?
So as you look across the road, you see the lightly snow-covered road before you. And currently, right now, it is lightly covered in snow as you look across it. However, it is mostly flat, with some hills or bits going up. But it is mostly flat and clear, but lightly covered in snow.
Alright, Beryl, would you like to try going a little bit faster today?
Oh, is that all right with whiskey?
As long as we take it easy on the hills, it should be fine, but I want you to get used to the carriage going a bit faster than normal.
Sure. Yeah. If you think it's all right.
I think Astrid will get the carriage going a little bit faster, and then she'll hand the reins over to Beryl so she can get a feel for it.
Alrighty. Alrighty. And do. This feels like it's appropriate to ask of Astrid. Astrid, give me a D100 as you go to travel for the rest of the day. Let's see what that is. 12. Okay.
I can see my mom out the window, and she's chasing Colette around the backyard because Colette had a bath and does not want the towel.
Alright, as you begin your travel, we will go to Silas, identifying the item. Silas, as you go to identify the item, the spell fails. And give me a intelligence check. Just a check, no skill or anything. Yeah, the spell fails as you go to identify it, but you're unsure why. You don't know why it failed, if it failed because of it being non-magical or for some other reason. You're unable to discern the reason why the failure has occurred.
Does it not give off magical vibes?
I mean, I suppose I'd leave that up to you. It's a palm-sized shard of ice that somewhat glows a bit, because it is
Okay.
and it is cold to the touch, cold enough to hurt, if you hold it without, a barrier between you. But, like, I suppose I'd leave that up to you. The Identify is basically not giving you anything, though. And you're not getting anything from it. Like, whether it be from a spell failing, whether it be because it's not magical, you're not sure.
I'm gonna start ritual casting detect magic.
Sure. Is anyone doing anything, or are you saying anything after that happens, Silas, after the spell failed?
He's focused on trying to figure out what the hell's going on with it, so he wouldn't have said anything yet.
Okay.
Isaac would see him fiddling with what just looks to be like a piece of cloth or something. And he'd be like, "What do you got there?"
Tell you in about 10 minutes.
Annoying little brother.
Is that like a handkerchief?
10 minutes.
Okay, I could wait 10 minutes.
All right. Is anyone... Well, no. Unless someone wants to do something during the 10 minutes, I'm just going to go forward. So unless someone stops me before this. Silas says you finish casting Detect Magic. I mean, you see the normal magics you'd see from the party members and their items. You don't see anything on the cloth. If you unfold the cloth, you don't see anything on the icicle. However, the glow from... So, I suppose in some ways, when you cast Detect Magic, the rest of the colors in the world sort of fade in a way. And that's how you're able to sort of see or, like, feel the energy is coming from things. It's how you're able to discern it. So usually, like, bright colors that are associated with an item don't necessarily carry over into, like, the Detect Magic view of it. So if you're looking at something that's like a ruby red gemstone, it's going to be a bit more faded when you're looking at it. However, when you look at the shard of ice, almost like a striking color in a black and white background, it is just completely standing out still with that same glow. It does not lose any color at all. In fact, it almost seems like it's brighter, but you can definitely attribute that with everything else being a bit more faded around it. But you don't get any magic from it. You see no magic on it. You just see that.
We felt intense magic coming from the icy heart with the crown around it, right?
Immaculate. Yes.
Right. Okay. I'll wrap I'll ball it up and call forward to Astrid. It's going to be a bit of a conversation. Would you like me to hand it back to you or hold on to it for now?
I mean, I can take it back if you don't want to look at it any longer, but if you want to play around with it, I don't mind.
What are we talking about?
Silas puts it in his bag.
Yeah, that's fine. She meant it.
Come on, tell me.
Look over at Isaac and go, "Oh, yes, I told you 10 minutes, didn't I?"
You did. I've been waiting. There's not a lot to do or talk about here.
I mean, you have more books on you than I do at this point.
I mean, even I need a break from reading every now and then.
It's from my perspective, a supernaturally cold, intricate piece of ice that has a bit of a glow to it. Despite the fact that it's not magical, or at least it doesn't register as magical, glows a brilliant hue while detecting for magic that other things do not.
Where'd you find it?
Astrid asked me to look for it, or look for it, to identify it for her. So I found it in her hand.
Astrid, where'd you find the ice?
In the cavern.
The cold one? The one with the super ice?
Is that what we're calling it? Yes, that one.
I mean, that's what I'm calling it. Huh. You just found it on the ground?
Well, no. I expressed my condolences to Mistra and Pandora for, going insane and all that, falling apart. And when I went to leave, something cold touched me, and when I turned around, something that looked like what I assume is Scotty because of the ice mask was there. And when I blinked, she was gone, and instead, this was on the floor.
Interesting. Can I see it? I swear I will not touch it. Hands to myself.
I do not believe you at all. No.
I will sit on my hands. Silas can point a crossbow at it. I just want to look at it.
No.
Silas does not look like he's getting it out of his bag.
Well, I'm not one to steal from friends, so fair enough.
Thankfully, I would hand it to you if I was the one who found it, but I'm not.
I understand your trepidation, but I was just gonna look at it.
Oh, I'm not doing the one thing that I would really like to do. Actually, you said I could fiddle with it, yes, Astrid?
Yes, you did me the favor of trying to identify it. If you want to mess around with it, I don't really see why not.
If the messing around with it results in any sort of potential harm to the object?
I mean...
Astrid, as he asks that, you don't know why, but there's like almost a stupid amount of confidence that Silas could do literally nothing to hurt the item.
You know what? That's funny, because I organically had that same thought.
Like, it's almost a dumb amount of confidence that just washes over you. And almost a bit of pride in some way.
Knock yourself out. Except don't, actually.
Alright then. I guess Isaac might be able to potentially see it then while I do this. I'm gonna cast Great Bonfire.
Sure.
Like it in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to drop it right dead center into the bonfire.
But I gotta say, your track records for fires in the back of this carriage have gone great in the past, by the way.
Silas has done nothing bad with fire.
As you drop it into the fire.
Now just watching it like a hawk.
Nothing happens. It just sits in the fire. In fact, as you watch it, the fire goes out after like a full minute.
See, like, Silas would do like that head tilt that like a dog does when it's confused by something.
Oh, so not
Michael
Myers.
Or Michael Myers, yes, that would be another example. And
I suppose it would be...
really scratches his forehead up.
It'd be 30 seconds and the fire goes out, because the spell is a minute.
Right.
So it'd be 30 seconds and the fire goes out.
I'm not certain this thing is safe. It probably should have gone with Morgan.
Maybe
Oh,
you
that
are being
was-
sauce.
Knock yourself out, Soul, if you would like to try. I mean...
No.
Actually, never mind, fire. Your fire is real fire.
Can we actually maybe do this when the student driver's not at the reins?
You're doing wonderfully.
They're lighting fires in the back of the wagon.
Well, I don't think Silas's counts, but I understand your
My
trepidation.
bonfire does not set anything on fire that is not sitting atop it.
Well, I didn't know that.
So when next time we pull over, if you would like to throw fireballs at it, you may.
I would love to see what happens. Sincerely.
Big grin.
It's us gonna with like I'm gonna like full on like take off my left glove and use it like a mitt in my right hand that has the glove on still, and pick it up with that, and then put it in the cloth and in my bag.
Fucking cold
You
still.
turn the glove into food, and then you swallow it whole.
So you got to see it, Isaac.
Certainly pretty.
The fact that a bonfire being a cantrip aside, or something made of ice to put out a magical fire is alarming, I would say. Moreover still, Astrid, the fact that it's cold enough to put out a magical fire baffles me that it did no harm or discomfort to you beyond something negligible.
To be fair, I did shake hands with the vampire, so I may have nerve damage.
Sounds pretty plausible to me.
It's like one of the most sane things any of us has ever said.
Not sure what degree my burns were. But you said that I should show it to Morgan, yes?
I think Morgan's insight would be helpful, although I'm perfectly game for letting Soul prove that her fire can't melt it either before we do that.
Well, considering we already bothered him once,
never mind.
I was going to wait until next time we needed to talk to him, and then I was going to show it to him.
Don't think we should keep it around that long. It seems to function on a level similar but adjacent to magic, and being someone who has as much as someone can without having a current wielder of second magic on hand, studied history of ancient magics a good bit. I can think of nothing positive that could come from keeping this around.
I have no idea what that noise is.
I don't know what noise you're talking about.
Oh, good. It's not registering for you. Discord is picking it up, apparently.
Sounded like muffled something.
Muffled something, that's right. Do you really think it's that dangerous?
It might not be dangerous. It very well could be, and since Identify can't do anything to it, since, as I said, it's likely something adjacent or older than our wonderful third magic that we have.
Jake, does Astrid's sense of confidence about this item, does she feel safe using it? Like,
You feel completely safe about the item. You don't feel any reason why you'd believe it'd be dangerous.
okay, I just want to make sure.
You can turn your camera on now, whenever you want, James. Oh, I fucked something up now. Oh, yeah. I can't believe I fucked that up as that happened. Anyway, it's fine. Except... Wow. Literally
camera's not on now.
literally nothing changed, and... Oh, that's why.
Everything changed.
There we go.
in the Fire Nation attack.
No, it's well, like
Here's a question for you, Astrid. It may seem a little out there, but you have any indication that this item is potentially sentient?
No. How would I know that?
Has it talked to you?
Not
Have you-
everything sentient has to talk, though. Like, is there another way of finding that out without it talking to me?
I mean, possibly
Maybe
it
it's
could be
just quiet.
influencing your thoughts, if just by
No.
talking.
No, I haven't had any other thoughts besides my own.
Did you talk to your items, Isaac?
No.
Can I inside check then?
Hasn't he
It sounds
told?
like you talk to your items, Isaac.
Have I told that?
I thought
Out of
when you
character,
spilled
have
I thought when you spilled the beans, you told us.
I don't think I mentioned
I
the
recall no conversation about his item talking to
Okay.
him.
I remember incorrectly then.
Yeah, I think he's been pretty cagey about the rod, particularly.
Yep. I'm just saying, when you say it like that, it implies that you've had experience with it.
That is a weird question.
None of you feel like you have a reason to believe he's lying on this one.
Nope.
Also, you'd have disadvantage anyway, Astrid, because of
I'm not looking at him.
not looking at him.
There's weird things out there. I've heard stories, I've read stories. Sometimes you get a magic item, you don't know it's alive, and it fucks with your brain.
I mean, if you'd like, I can try talking to it later.
It's up to you, but why risk it?
So don't talk to it. You're giving me mixed messages.
I was just asking a question. That's all I'm here for. Asking questions.
Okay.
Josie, do you have a weird out there question?
Huh? I'm sorry, I haven't been listening to literally anything.
And I respect that. So, you were saying something?
If anyone starts talking to their items, we should tell each other. Right?
I mean, I think that makes sense, yes. I might talk to the little firefly thing I have, but that's just because it's cute. I don't actually think it understands me.
It is cute.
Is that like something we have to do? Like, do we have to talk to each of our items and see if they talk back?
No.
But they will.
Don't know why that's being presented as a thing by Isaac, but no. That's not a standard practice with magical items.
But there's a chance that it could talk back, is what you're saying.
Abysmally low.
I mean, who has heard of such a thing?
Sort of what?
Such a thing.
I mean, I've read stories about talking swords and things like that, but they were always presented as a story.
I mean, I never really came across much, outside of the standard literal, everywhere I look, magical nature of things. And I talked to trees, and they were pretty magical, but I don't know.
I guess fiction has just had a big influence on me, and, maybe I just get a little hopeful that some things are more than they seem.
Sounds like you need to take a little bit less time on those books, Isaac.
Yeah, I've been hearing that for most of my life.
That isn't a bad way to look at things, though.
It's dangerous thoughts in your mind.
Always hoping for something more, though. Expecting the unexpected, in a sense.
Whenever we stop next and Soul gets to try her hand at melting the ice, assuming it fails, if it fails, the only other thing that I would have is to dab a little acid on it and see what happens. But I have a feeling nothing is the answer.
Do you have a plan for getting the acid off?
It's a liquid. It can be rinsed off.
Okay.
So you're worried about me burning the snow or the dirt with the acid remnants?
I'm more worried about picking the stone up and then having acid on my hands.
I wouldn't be reckless enough to have you pick it up while it was still burning.
You Jake personally get negative inspiration?
Yes, it means I can make you re-roll anything at disadvantage. Or make you fail something automatically.
Okay.
Beyond that, until we do come to a stop, Sal's just gonna keep it in his bag and ponder about the object.
Sure. James, to give you a brief update, you've traveled for some time. There was a thing that happened yesterday that I could not explain in a brief way. So you're just gonna have to either watch the VOD, read notes. But regardless, you're traveling towards Breline now. You're about 4 days into your travel now. In a 6 to 7 day journey.
I'll probably read the notes whenever after the session, like in a bit.
Okie dokie. Alright. So, that being said, are you guys making any considered efforts to stop, to allow this to happen, or are you just waiting, till it's late to decide to stop?
Unless we have, like, a natural reason to stop. Like, someone has to pee or something, then no. I don't know what our routine is, if we, like, stop every couple of hours to walk around, or, like, what's up. I don't know the road trip etiquette in D&D.
Well, that would be, but we don't have to elaborate.
I'm just asking if you wanted to stop to let the thing get happened. I don't think we need to elaborate on the bathroom tendencies of Dungeons and Dragons.
It's like a whole 45 minutes of the Hunger Games where Katniss is just peeing in the woods.
Regardless, Ben, were you about to say something?
I was just gonna say it sounds like we're not stopping before night.
That's what it seems like. But there is something I have to check. So. And that's called the weather chart. And I already got a roll. So let's see. As you guys begin your travel, snow begins to fall as the clouds grow heavy and it gets a bit darker. The sun's blotted out. As storm clouds in the air, snow is falling down at a pretty accelerated rate, covering the ground and coming down hard. It is heavy snow. In fact, as it is coming down, the ground is not covered yet, so you've not incurred the penalties of such things yet. But you can tell that the snow is coming down very hard as it continues to fall down. So I guess my question is, at the snow beginning to fall down, are you continuing at your fast pace to try and beat the snow to possibly somewhere you could rest, or are you going to be moving more cautiously with it coming down?
Yeah, I would help Beryl slow down because I don't want her to crash.
I would immediately at the first sign of snow like coming down be like, you take it.
You did a very good job today. You don't need to be nervous.
Beryl, with you... Asher, with you taking it and just being in control of the reins now, are you trying to beat the snow, as I said, or are you moving slower to accommodate for it? It's a question of... Okay.
No, you go first.
It's just a question of whether you're trying to find somewhere to get out of the snow, or whether you're trying to take the safe way and not risk the carriage.
Just the safe way.
Okay.
We got a lot of people back here.
Yeah, that's fair. And it certainly is the safe way to as you move. The wind picks up as a biting wind blows past, sending a chill down all of the spine, then down all of your spines that are not acclimated to the weather. Astra, do you feel very comfortable as the weather reaches its coldest that it is, shaken by it at all? As your carriage moves. It's been hours now. The moon hangs high in the sky. Its light illuminating down. It's the sunset about half an hour ago. So, it's just about nighttime. And as you travel, in the distance, you've only not stopped so far because you see something off in the distance. You see what looks like stone walls surrounding a tower-like shape in the middle of the road where you can see light coming from off in the distance. And as you've traveled through the road, it's become clearer and clearer as you see not too far away, but still at least another hour's worth of travel, what looks to be a fortress of sorts, like what you'd expect from a old historic fort for the nation of Destin. These old stone walls surrounding what looks like a large stone tower and a keep. However, you can also just barely see what looks like some wooden structures as well in the distance, as if the fort has been remade into some sort of makeshift town or stop of sorts. It is about an hour away on the road still, and the roads are a bit more covered in snow now as you begin your travel. However, anyone looking forward toward the fort can roll me a perception check. And the people in the back of the carriage can stick their heads out and look forward, so.
I could only just get those on attack.
Real quick on the meta, would someone have said something about the fort ahead of us?
Yeah. Beryl or
Yes.
yeah, one of us would have probably.
If Astra's still driving, so she need to ask if he wants you guys would want to stop now or try to make it to the fort.
So with that question being asked, and with the perception checks that got rolled, Beryl, Soul, and Josie, you can actually see what looks like shapes in the distance that look like figures that look to be clearing the snow on the road of the fort in the distance, as if they're trying to like keep it mostly clear. And you see what looks like the gate of the fort is in fact open.
I mean, if there's any better of a reason to stop, then, probably be the best time and place to do it.
I would second that. A structure to pull under or next to at the very least would be preferable. Being just in a tent as the snow comes down.
Okay. Astrid will try to get Whiskey to pick up the pace just a little bit.
Sure. All I need from you, then, is a persuasion check for Whiskey for the last stretch of time. Okay. Yeah, as you're managing to keep Whiskey... Ugh, my brain just stopped there. You're managing to keep Whiskey in control and calm, despite the cold. And he is cold, you can tell. You do manage to ride up with him as you begin to approach what looks like this fort. As you travel uphill toward it, you begin pulling up toward these tall stone walls surrounding this enclosed area. The only thing you see beyond the stone walls are what look like a tall... the walls are about 15 feet up, by the way. And a tower that towers above the walls about 30 feet up, 30 feet in length, sits behind it, attached to this stone keep. As well, you can see just the top of a chimney of what looks like a wooden building further inside. Through the gates, you can see what also looks like small little wooden houses built inside, and what looks like almost like a makeshift little townish area inside. As you pull up, you see what look like guards, clearly in the Destin garments and uniform, clearing the road, and one of them actually coming to the side and trying to assist you in your passage getting to the fort quicker. So he assists in some ways getting you there until you pull up toward this gate, which is pulled open wide, light coming from inside, illuminating in the darkness of night, as walking up toward the front of your carriage would be what looks like a man in a military uniform, a elven man with blonde hair, short cut, and green eyes, with a sort of pale white skin that you'd expect from, say, like a high elf of the area. As he walks up, keeping his hand blocking the wind in his eyes for a moment, as he goes, "Terrible conditions to be traveling with it being so late and the cold. Where are you headed?" And he would be shouting this over the wind.
My brain remembers it.
Breline.
It is Breline. Okay. Breline.
Better stop here then for the night. Don't want to go through the plains during this weather, or at night.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
No issue. We can stable your horse. There's a tavern in town as well. We should have rooms for folk like you.
Isaac would poke his head out and be like, where exactly are we? What is this fort?
Less a fort now. But you're at the, where is it? It's somewhere. I'm trying to pull it up. I know the name, I just don't want to give it to you without spelling it for you. Gullen Point. You'd recognize the name as being the name of the pass as well from the letter. That took me longer to find than it should have. I should have just looked in the letter, frankly. If you're looking to get to Brayline, this is the best, most straightforward way. But traveling there through night and through these conditions, not safe. Monstrosities about during these times. Just pull in, and we'll take the carriage and your horse, and then you all can head to the inn. As he goes to move out of the way to I'll get you in, as he just looks up toward the people on the top and just waves his hand as he clearly casts a spell, and it begins to emanate a sort of light, very light red color that would be obvious to see in the dark as he waves up to the wall above.
Astrid would have Whiskey pull in.
Sure. Whiskey, as you pull in, you would be approached by some guard who would offer to take the carriage and stable the horse.
What do I owe you?
Nothing. Conditions are too dangerous for people to travel, so we insist upon not letting you all not making you all go through this.
I would like to insight check him.
Sure.
Nope, not my night.
You don't get anything that would give any vibe that he's lying or anything.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Can I visit the horse later? I'd like to give him some sort of reward.
Of course, he'll be at the stables. It's not too far. It's a small place. You'll be able to find it.
Thank you. Astrid will hand over the reins and get down.
Alright. As he would look to you and go, you should be able to find lodging over there at the empty mountain, as he points to what looks like a inn. As you see this very small two-story, packed, sort of compact building where light just peeks out from the sides of it, with a signpost at the front of it that sort of is blowing in the wind. You can see what looks like half a mountain that is sort of carved inward, sort of hollow in some ways, as the reads in common, the empty mountain.
Jake, not looking for necessarily asking you for super specifics, but about what kind of quality of gear are these guards wearing? Is it high-end metal?
I mean, it's the uniform gear you have seen from Destined Guard, and Destined Guard have been dressed in sort of half-plate gear you've seen, mostly leathers, but with plate chest pieces.
Okay.
So it's the uniform sort of look. It's not above or beyond. When you saw the knights, the actual Knights of Destin, they were dressed in full-on plate armor. But this is not anything like that.
These are similar to the guards that we've been seeing for a long time now before we left.
Correct. We're gonna call break here in a minute, guys. I'm just gonna get us forward a bit more. So sorry if anyone's been waiting for that. So, are you all gonna depart from the carriage and head to the empty mountain?
Yes.
Okay. As you go to approach and go to enter, before swinging the doors open, I actually realize now before entering a building is a perfect time to call break, so I am going to call break now. Because it'll give me a moment to rest my voice before I have to describe the interior. So we're going to call break for now. We'll be back in 5 minutes, so 8:50 for folk in my time zone, whatever time for the other rest of you. You guys can count, probably. So I'll be back in a moment as well. After I move you guys to the break screen. the rules for these, the guidelines for what does and does count as an allowance is not clear, and it never will be.
And that's how we like it.
And that's, we play with a little mystery, with a little danger.
A little bit of risk.
You could give me more power than I deserve at any moment. And